Hiya! Welcome to Geeky Girls Knit and Cross Stitch. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl. I'm glad that you're here today. Today is Monday, the 15th of June, 2020, and this is Stitch With Me, episode 10. I actually remembered to look before I started recording. I'd like to say big welcome back, love you guys, to all of our returning viewers, and a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. We hope you enjoy the show. On Mondays, I record a Stitch With Me video, and then on Thursdays, Dammy, my daughter, and I record a full-length podcast / FlossTube, and that goes live on Fridays. So I am currently stitching on this cute little Pusheen cat. This is from the Pusheen Cross Stitch Kit. And I have finished the first two patterns. Number one. And, oops. There we go. Number two. And I am working on number three. And all I have left is just filling in everything. This is on 14 count Aida that came with the kit. And it is the 4 flosses that came with the kit. So, yeah. Okay, so, elephant in the room. Pink bangs are gone. And the lighting here is so weird because I can't have the overhead light on because then it reflects weird in this camera. So, I just got it into my head on Saturday, I don't know, days, that I was tired of my curly pink bangs. And so I chopped them off, and then I used the overtone pink for brown hair, and it mainly took on my grays, but it's just kind of this, it kind of just gives this pink sheen to it. I wasn't sure how I felt about it when I did it. It was kind of a holy crap, but I'm liking it. And yeah. So there you go. So what has been going on in our world? Lather, rinse, repeat. Anybody? Yep. Dammy is completely done with her spring quarter, so yay. And she, my cross stitch wasn't totally up here in the frame. So she has a break until, I think it's July 1st, and she'll be taking 2 science classes at the local community college, to transfer to her regular college so that she can get those done and out of the way. So, the place she has worked, here where we live is not completely open back up yet because it's a restaurant and a very small restaurant. So I'm not sure when, she'll be able to go back to work, but I'm glad that she's getting a little bit of a break, before classes start back up for her. Yeah. What else? We recorded our 400th episode. If you haven't watched yet, we recorded our 400th podcast episode on Thursday and released it on Friday. And we have 5 really great giveaways going on. One of them is cross stitch, so you should definitely go check out our 400th episode if you have not watched it yet. In this week's, I'm going to reach behind me. In this week's episode 401, we got the new issue of Just Cross Stitch, and we'll be showing some of that in this week's episode. Spoiler, I wasn't very impressed. Yeah, so it is what it is. You win some, you lose some. So yeah, we'll be showing that. And Trying to think what else. I guess that's about it. I just got to notice that the new episode of Cabin Fever just released. So we really love it was a BBC, so it's a British radio comedy called Cabin Pressure, and it's about like this one plane airline, and it is so funny. Benedict Cumberbatch from Sherlock was in it before he was super famous, and then as he started getting more famous. But it's a really funny. I think there's 27 episodes of it. But John Finnemore, who is the guy who wrote it and also plays one of the characters in it, has been during this pandemic doing what he's calling Cabin Fever and doing them on his YouTube. And he is his character Arthur is stay at home all by himself, but he's like in an in-law suite, and so his mom, who is a character from the show, is not his mom in real life. His mother, the character of his mother, is in the main part of the house. And anyway, it's just really funny. So he's been putting out episodes on YouTube, and so that I just got to notice that there's a new one. So I'll have to watch that once I get done with this. Stitch with me. So, yeah. Okay, well, let me, so I have been doing these hashtags CC Stitch With Me prompts from this 300 writing prompts book that I picked up at our local Barnes & Noble. And I bought it to try to do some journaling with it, and then didn't end up really doing that. Instead, I have been answering some of the questions, some of the prompts here on Stitch With Me. So, if you want to answer some or all of them on your own FlossTube or in the comments or whatever, feel free. Yeah, okay. So, the first prompt is, in what way are you strong? I would say that I am strong in that even though I have been fighting fibromyalgia for, when was I diagnosed? 2011 or 2012. So for a number of years now, that I keep fighting it. And although it has severely changed my life and what I'm able to do, and, I can't work a full-time job. I have to really pay attention to how I schedule outings and being out and about, to give myself time to recover from things. I can't walk super far distances. At my worst with the fibromyalgia, I was in a wheelchair. So being able to walk without even a cane anymore is a huge improvement. But compared to the life I lived before fibromyalgia, it's much different. But yet I continue to fight. And some days are easier than others. Some days I don't even want to get up out of bed. Oh, okay, I made a little mistake there. But you know what? I'm just going to fudge it because I think it'll be fine. 2 seconds while I fudge this. That's part of the problem with me doing this Stitch With Me is I can't hold the fabric as close to my face as I usually do. I like to stitch with it up here. So, anyway, I continue to fight, and I try to live as quote unquote normal life as I can. And I mean, don't get me wrong. There's days and times that I just want to throw in the towel, but I think that it's important. It's important that I keep trying, and I'm not always going to succeed, but I'm definitely going to keep trying. Oh, I see what happened. My thread, one of the strands is longer than the other, and so it came out of the hole. So we'll just cut that and fix that, which means I'm going to start a new strand here in a second. Yeah, so I would definitely say that is how I'm strong, in just that I have the tenacity, I guess would be a good word, but just the drive to keep trying, even when it's not easy. What is going on here? You guys, is that a knot? There we go. Okay. I guess it just stuck. The thread that came with this kit is not the best, but it came with a kit, and so I'm using it. Okay, so let's just... Okay, we'll go this way. Let's weave that in under here, and we'll start a new thread. And maybe, hopefully, it will behave better than that one did. So, there is a, and I guess it's an analogy, and I don't remember the lady's name who came up with it, but it's called the spoon theory. Some of you may have heard of it before. And it is the idea that every day I have a limited number of spoons available to do things. And so, getting out of bed may take a spoon, depending on the day. Usually it takes at least a spoon to get out of bed. Taking a shower may take a spoon or 2 or 3. What in the world happened? Okay, we are ripping that back, and I will reweave that in after later. Let's see. Let me pull. Goodness gracious, that thread at the end there just did not want to cooperate. Crazy. So, taking a shower may take a spoon or 2 or 3 or more. I work part-time, very part-time, about 10 hours a week, doing administrative stuff for a local fiber mill. Okay, there we go. Hopefully this strand is going to behave better. And depending on the day and what I need to do, I do administrative stuff and social media. So, depending on the day, I do invoicing, things like that. That may take, X number of spoons. When the pandemic's not happening, going out to my local cross-stitch group or to my local knitting group, that may take X number of spoons. The problem is, I don't know how many spoons I'm going to have. And each day when I get up, and I may have, 5 spoons today, but I might have 10 spoons tomorrow. And so I can borrow spoons from tomorrow, but then that means I'm going to have less spoons for tomorrow, and I'm going to have to pay for, borrowing those spoons, from the next day. And if I only have if it's a really bad day and I only have one spoon, and it takes one spoon to get out of bed, then what am I supposed to do for the rest of the day? So that is just kind of that's an analogy that I think really helps people understand what people with a disability, especially something like fibromyalgia or chronic pain or chronic fatigue, go through. Just the not knowing from day to day how much we're going to be able to do, and the recovery from doing more than we would normally do. So there you go. Okay. What is the last thing, or one of the last things you searched for on the internet? Why? One of the last things I searched for on the internet was to see if our local transit authority, so the company that runs the public buses, was collecting fares or not. They stopped collecting fares, and they still aren't collecting fares according to their website. And the reason I was checking that is because the Dr. Hubbs went back to work in his office today. Well, he's in his office Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this week and next week, and working from home Thursday, Friday, this week and next week, and then he's back in his office 5 days a week, the week after that. So they're transitioning back into the office after working from home all this time. So I was checking to see, because if they were collecting fares, I would need to put we have a transit card called the Orca card that lots of the different transit authorities in our state, you can use the card on all these different authorities. And so, like, I had already put, well, typically I put a month-long ferry pass on for him, because he takes the bus to the ferry terminal and then takes the ferry across into Seattle and then reverse on the way home. And typically I put a month-long ferry pass on for him, but since he was not going to be in the office, he was not going to be in the office enough to justify putting that pass on for June. So what I did instead was, they also have a 10 ferry rides that have to be used up within 90 days pass. And for the Washington State ferries, you don't pay the fare both directions. So going from where we are in Bremerton, Washington, so taking the ferry from here across to Seattle, there's no ferry fee unless you're driving on. If you're walking on, there's no ferry fee. Coming from Seattle back across, there is. So having 10 rides will be more than enough for him for June. So. And that's just more cost effective than paying for each ride separately. So they give you a discount. The biggest discount they give you is if you buy the month long, and you can ride the ferry once a day. You get 30 rides. So it's more than enough for him when he's when he's commuting regularly. So. But the next most cost-effective was getting that 10 ride. So that is one of the last things that I looked up, because I needed to know if he needed to have the local bus fare, because we did the math, and him leaving he leaves our apartment complex and just goes down to the main road, so it's just a few minutes walk, and then catches the bus to the ferry terminal and then reverse on the way home. him doing that, by the time we factored in gas and time, and also the fact that if I had to get up out of bed and take him to the ferry in the morning, that uses spoons. That really uses spoons. It was more time and cost and my health effective for him to do the bus. So that is what he does. Okay. Let's do one more prompt. Complete this thought. Someone really needs to design a better blank. I looked at these prompts before I got a shower, so that I could just kind of, think a little bit about my responses to them. And this one, I want to be like geeky and say someone really needs to design a better form of transportation. Like, why don't we have transporters yet? Why isn't it like in science fiction and we can transport to different places? And because gosh, that would change lives. I mean, the Dr. Hubs would not have to get up at dark o'clock to go catch the bus to get to the ferry, to take an hour-long ferry ride and then walk the I can't remember how far it is. I want to say it's I can't remember how far he walks from the ferry terminal to his office. Like 20 to 30 minute walk. So gosh, if he could just transport to work, that would be a huge game changer. I would love to be able to transport across the water to England, to where my bestie lives, and be able to see her. But gosh, wouldn't it help with like things like pollution and such too, if we weren't having to drive vehicles? Wouldn't it help? I mean, rush hour would be gone. I mean, it wouldn't exist anymore because, people would be able to transport places. Would we even need? We wouldn't even need roads really anymore. I mean, well, I guess, it depends on like how much you can transport, because like, well, no, you would be able to transport like cargo and such, right? Man, it would be a game changer. Somebody needs to get on that. Somebody needs to get on this whole transporter thing and make it happen. Make it happen. It would make life different for everyone. I mean, who's going to get on this? Who is going to make this happen? And we can just stop this we can just, man, I had not even thought about like the implications of the fact like that it would, we would get rid of the pollution from vehicles, and, rush hour would go away, and there we go. That's what somebody really needs to design, a better way to travel and to transport things, and that would be a transporter. One of these days. In my lifetime, who knows? That would be amazing if it were to happen in my lifetime, but will it? I have no idea. So, there you go. There are my CC Stitch With Me prompts for this week. Okay, let me think. This week ahead, what's going on? Anything out of the norm? Well, I already told you that Dr. Hubbs is back at work. Dammy's on break from school. I think that's like it. I don't think that there's anything out of the norm going on for me this week. Yeah. So we'll be back with you. Well, you'll see it on Friday. We'll record a new podcast episode on Thursday. And, yeah, we'll have the Just Cross Stitch. I believe the new issue of Pom Pom Quarterly will be here by then, which is a magazine out of the UK that's got primarily knitting and crochet, but also some other crafts. They always have an amazing recipe and some really thought-provoking articles usually in it. So that is on its way to us. And if it is here before we record the podcast, we'll have a review of that as well in the new episode. Don't forget to check out our 400th episode if you haven't watched it yet, and make sure and enter to win prizes. We have from my employer, actually, my boss Shireen of Soundview Fiber Mill. We have your choice of 2 skeins of yarn. We have your choice of 2 bumps of roving, which can be used to spin yarn. We have from Knit Crate, which is a subscription yarn box, we have 2 skeins of undyed sock yarn and Kool-Aid to dye them with. We have a cross stitch prize, which is 2 floss organizer holder things and a cross stitch like journal type thing. And then from Dammy and I, one person is going to win all 10 of our ebooks, our pattern ebooks. So those prize giveaways will stay open until we record episode 402. So you have about a week and a half left to enter, and you might be the winner. You can enter all 5 giveaways, but you can only win once. So, yeah. And I think that is it. You can find us online at geekygirlsknit.com. There you will find links to everywhere else we are online. Dammy normally says this. I still don't have it down. YouTube, iTunes, Ravelry, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And I'm going to finish this row because I only stitch on this during Stitch With Me's. So I'm making progress. This will get finished one of these days. I'm just glad I don't have to look at the pattern anymore, since it's just filling in with this tan color. So I'm going to finish this row, and we look forward to seeing you again in our Friday episode. And until then, we hope you have a really great week. Remember to stay safe. Oh, I know what else I was going to say. So we're doing a thing where if you purchased anything from any patterns or ebooks from our Ravelry store, we were going to make a donation to the NAACP, and we did that. We made a $75 donation to them. So thank you to everyone who purchased patterns and ebooks from us. We really appreciate that. It was. I think the total was actually like, I don't know, 72 something or whatever, but we just rounded it up to 75. So that has been made. Remember to stay safe, stay healthy, continue to educate yourself about what is going on in the world, especially with the protests and different things that are happening. I'm really grateful for the things that I am learning that are being shared through social media, and I'm grateful for the people that are taking the time to share stuff that is helpful. I'm trying to reshare some things in my stories, both on Instagram and Facebook. So, yeah. Okay, I really do think that's it now. So, have a great week ahead, and we will see you again on Friday. And until then, there's my progress on my pusheen. Happy crafting. Talk to you again soon. Bye.